What would happen if a platformer combined beautiful hand-drawn animation, creative level designs, and the kind of challenge that keeps you coming back for just one more try? That's exactly the feeling that I got while playing the demo of the Eternal Life of Goldman. Even though the game hasn't officially released yet, the demo already shows a ton of promise. With its cartoon-like visual style, tight platforming, and moments of difficulty that reminded me a lot of Cuphead, this upcoming title might end up just being one of the most interesting platformers to watch. Right away, the first thing that stands out is the visual art style. The game features beautiful hand-drawn animations and environments that feel lively, detailed, and full of personality. The aesthetic immediately reminded me of Cuphead. Much like that game, the animation quality feels almost like you're playing inside a cartoon. Every movement, enemy, and background element is packed with charm, making the world feel handcrafted rather than procedurally generated. But the comparison to Cuphead doesn't stop only at the visuals. At times, the difficulty can spike into a similar fashion. The game requires good timing, careful movement, and a bit of patience. Certain sections may take a few attempts to master, but that challenge actually adds to the satisfaction when you finally go through them. It's that classic platformer feeling where each mistake teaches you something about that level. In the Eternal Life of Goldman, you play as Goldman, an adventurer traveling through a strange and mysterious world. Throughout the demo, you navigate a variety of beautiful designed areas filled with obstacles, enemies, and environmental challenges. What really impressed me was how unique each level felt. Instead of repeating the same mechanics, the demo constantly introduced new ideas and level layouts that kept the gameplay fresh. The level design is one of the game's biggest strengths, in my opinion. Each section feels carefully constructed to test different skills. Sometimes it's precise jumping, other times it's just quick reactions or navigating tricky enemy placements. The environment also changes in interesting ways, which helps the game avoid feeling repetitive. Even in a short demo like this one, you can already see the developers' focus on variety and creativity. Another standout feature is the game's progression system. Goldman carries a walking stick with him, which isn't just for show. As you progress through your adventure, you can upgrade this walking stick to unlock new abilities. These upgrades can dramatically change how you interact with the environment. For example, you can gain abilities like double jumping and other movement enhancements that help you reach new areas or even overcome tougher obstacles. This mechanic adds a nice layer of depth to the platforming. Instead of simply running and jumping from start to finish, the game gradually expands your toolkit, allowing you to approach challenges in all sorts of new ways. It also opens up the possibility for more complex level designs later in the game. Even though my experience was limited to the demo, the overall gameplay felt smooth and responsive. Movement feels tight, the controls are precise, and the platforming generally feels fair. When you fail, it usually feels like it's your mistake rather than the game's fault, which is exactly what you want from a challenging platformer game. That said, the demo wasn't completely flawless though. During my playthrough, I experienced 2 crashes, both of which forced me to restart the level. It was a bit frustrating at that time, especially when you're in the middle of a good run. However, since this is still a demo and the game hasn't officially launched yet, these kinds of technical issues are somewhat expected and will hopefully be resolved before release. Despite those small hiccups, my overall impression is extremely positive. The game already shows a strong identity, creative level design, and satisfying platforming mechanics. It's clear that a lot of care has gone into both the visuals and the gameplay itself. The publisher THQ Nordic deserves credit for supporting such an interesting project. If the full release builds on what the demo already offers, I genuinely believe this game could become a standout platformer when it finally launches. The final score for the Eternal Life of Goldman, in my opinion, is a 9 out of 10. Even though it's only a small slice of the full experience, the demo for the Eternal Life of Goldman already shows enormous potential. Between the beautiful hand-drawn visuals, as I mentioned before, and the creative level designs and the whole evolving gameplay mechanics, this is definitely a game worth keeping an eye on. If you enjoy challenging platformers, unique art styles, and games similar to Cuphead, this is one upcoming title that should absolutely be on your radar. And if the final version lives up to what the demo promises, this game is going to rock. And with all these things being said, we come to an end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
When he was blabbering on about treasure, I saw a boy What's wrong with boys?
Was I not a fool for believing a boy?
Maybe he was just gonna...
I said, was I not a fool for believing a boy?
I don't know, Mom.